Love is just a click away. Welcome to the Lover List, where we bring you the best love, dating, and relationship stories Reddit has to offer. Don't be a love spectator. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to join the love parade. Is she, 32 female, trying to baby trap me, 35 male? I have been dating Amanda for 3 months. She has been upfront that her goal is marriage and a family, which is cool. I recently got divorced because my ex finally told me she didn't actually want kids, and that was that. I'm not a spring chicken, so I understand that time is a thing. Now, I get that we may need to move a little faster than if we were younger, but obviously that is not something that is coming into play right now. She is on BC, per her. Last week we went out of town for a few days and stayed in a hotel. I started noticing these little white sticks in the trash and what looked like whitening strip packets. I got curious and looked closer and ended up Googling it. They are ovulation tests. When I asked her about it, she freaked, accused me of invading her privacy, and told me she used them to track her period. Now, maybe I'm missing something, but her reaction combined with what I know makes me a little suspicious. She is irate at me, so I wanted to check here. Just going to add that you should take your reproduction into your own hands. I use condoms if you don't want kids right just now. Don't trust someone else to adhere to your reproductive goals, especially not after 3 months SMH. OP, this is all the advice you need. Take this advice and apply it to every part of your life. You can only control your own actions, nobody else's. So much this. Always take something like this into your own hands unless it's someone you can absolutely, positively trust 500%. Honestly, even then it's best to take extra precautions if you don't want children at that point in time or ever. Obviously BC of any type can still fail, but doubling up on them, condoms and BC-like pills and so on, will decrease the chances of conception. If the woman is freaking out about OP researching the sticks, then she's clearly up to something shady. OP, if you choose to stay with someone like this, I personally wouldn't. Do not have sex with her again until you get to the bottom of things. If you do, use your own condoms and give them a good check beforehand to make sure she didn't pop holes in them. Reproductive coercion is real and it happens to both men and women. To add to this, remember condoms are only 85% effective. So out of 100 women, about 13 will get pregnant. You need to sit down and have a conversation with her. I am a woman and a mother of 3, and I can't think of any other reason to track ovulation without the sole purpose of getting pregnant. Tracking your cycle is tracking exactly that. When you start bleeding, when you stop, and the time in between. She is tracking to get pregnant, and that is not the type of person you want to have a kid with. That is very deceitful. Run now. Edit for spelling. Your statistic is wrong. When people cite the statistic, they almost always miss the in any given year part. The actual statistic is 15 out of 100 women will get pregnant given a full year of sex at random using X contraception, not each sexual encounter. Per average numbers of 54 sexual encounters per year for a sexually active adult, you can expect a per instance rate of about 99.7% effectiveness. Every time you use a condom, you can expect a 99.7% effectiveness rate. In a year, that totals to 85% that no pregnancies occur. Functionally speaking, a combination of ovulation tracking, pulling out, and condoms are enough to ensure a near 100% effectiveness of contraception. For me and my partner, ovulation tracking is a great way of knowing when not to have sex, or to be extra careful when having sex, not necessarily to know when to have sex. It works both ways. Ovulation tests are generally used to pinpoint ovulation to time sex correctly. The birth control shot also stops ovulation, so why would she be using the strips? I think your suspicions are correct. That was also my understanding. I echo what others have said regarding her saying she's on the shot. It's been a while since I've used birth control, but when I was on the shot I never got a period, so there was nothing to track. But also her saying you were invading her privacy? They were in the trash. That is not searching her belongings, it's a trash can. Her defensiveness speaks volumes. And it was genuinely like, what are these random white things that keep appearing, because I noticed they had colored lines on them. Then I was like, wait, are they pregnancy tests? So I Google the name, ovulation tests. She's irate because she got caught, not because you did anything wrong. As a woman, I'm confused by 3 months of dating and her doing this. A child ties you together for essentially life. Everyone says 18 years, but there's more after 18: college, graduations, holidays, grandkids. The last thing I would have tried for was to get pregnant by someone after 3 months. This is also my concern. She mentioned her timeline and things like that often, and I kind of figured with her age she was a bit in a hurry, but there are women pit there who get the baby rabies and steal babies, so maybe her clock is ticking way louder than I thought. Maybe just me, but I'm on the 3-month depot shot and I don't get periods. Sounds to me like she could possibly be using ovulation tracking as birth control and not actually using any reliable form of contraception. I'd ask her and start wearing condoms ASAP if you don't want a kid right now. I wouldn't trust her enough to have sex, condom or not. She told me she is on the shot. If you continue to date her, bring your own condoms and insist on wearing them. Don't let her have access to them or she may poke holes in them. Also, dispose of the condom yourself. Best bet is to put it in a Ziploc bag until you can get rid of it when you are away from her. Nah. Forget all that. Just find a different girl. She is sketchy as hell. After a few depot shots, my young friends hardly had periods at all. They were not ovulating. Pretty nuts to think she would only know you 3 months and roll these dice. Using ovulation tests would be an expensive way to track periods. If you're sleeping together, you have the right to know exactly what type of birth control she's using. If she claims to be on the pill, an ovulation test is pointless because she'd already know where she is on her cycle. Her reaction makes me think you should use a condom either way. I have a feeling you'll get your answer based on how she takes it. She is claiming the shot. Again, I am not an expert, but I am fairly well educated on reproduction and this just doesn't sit well. I am thinking of ending it. She is irate because she got caught. There is no reason for her to be tracking ovulation if she is on the shot. It very much looks like she's trying to get pregnant. I track ovulation while on birth control because I got pregnant on the shot. I just use it now to feel more secure, because when I see a negative test it lets me know things are working as they should and I don't need to panic. I hate this term baby trapping. It takes two. Don't trust someone you've only been seeing for 3 months. Don't want a baby? Take your precaution, or don't keep sticking your dick in someone you think would deceive you in such a way. Be a little smarter than that. I have never heard of someone using ovulation sticks to track their period, ever. It really makes no sense. Period tracker apps or a simple calendar make a million times more sense. Either she's trying to get pregnant or she's not really on birth control and trying to use the rhythm method. Either way, she isn't trustworthy. Exactly. I used an app for period tracking, but when my husband and I wanted to start planning for a baby, that's the only time I used an ovulation kit. Also, an ovulation kit, at least where I live, is ridiculously expensive, way more expensive than a pack of condoms and a free period app tracker. You mentioned she's on depot shot, but they're supposed to suppress ovulation, and she may just want to make doubly/fully sure she's not ovulating despite being on the shot, because no BC is 100%. Or it's been over 3 months since she's gotten the shot. I mean, you got to get that every 3 months. She's probably making sure it's not worn out yet. Then again, you've only known her for 3 months. If you want to be better protected, you can always wear a condom on your part. It's safer against STI as well. People lie so much in relationships. I dated a woman who told me she was on birth control after I asked, before sex, if she was on the pill. After we had sex a few times, she told me that she used the calendar method of birth control, just did not have sex when she was most fertile. She then laughed that she had a friend who did the same but got pregnant. You have every right to be diligent about birth control and using contraceptives, as does anyone, man or woman, who is sexually active. I think what pisses me the most about these stories is that the man in question still doesn't stop sleeping with the woman when the signs are all there. Full stop. Do not continue sleeping with her and literally leave. That's the best form of contraception there is, no sex at all. You shouldn't be sleeping with someone without a condom if you don't trust them. And don't even think to let her be the ones to supply the condoms either. I've never heard of anyone using ovulation tests for tracking periods. It's common for women to go on BC to regulate periods. I might be wrong, but never come across it. I know someone who uses ovulation sticks so she can avoid having sex when she's fertile, because BC doesn't work for her. It's not foolproof, she's still ended up pregnant, but it's what she wants. Tell her you think you'd feel more comfortable using condoms, as it seems like her BC isn't working well, as BC should help regulate her cycles. Tell her you think she needs to talk to her doctor about it as you're worried about it, and you think you should start using condoms going forward until her ovulation cycle is back on track. Ask her to keep on tracking it. If you notice she stops, I'd be worried. If she kicks up a fuss about condoms, stay calm and tell her you don't understand why she's angry. Ask her if she isn't worried about an unplanned pregnancy with someone she's only known for 3 months. Make sure you dispose of condoms properly. That means maybe you put it in the bin with a tissue and empty it out. She might not be trying to baby trap you, but if you don't feel safe, you have a reason for it, and it's better to make the condom use about her BC not regulating her cycles causing you concern. Be wary about condoms and holes. Before jumping to conclusions she's trying to trap her man, one can also use ovulation strips to make sure one is not in fact ovulating, to avoid pregnancy. Do you recall if there were 1 or 2 lines on the strip? Yes, birth control pills are supposed to stop ovulation, but they do not always work. She may have simply been tracking her cycle and using the ovulation strips to be sure she wouldn't get pregnant. Do you know if she has a cycle tracker app? Birth control pills track your period pretty well. They makes most women very regular. They also prevent ovulation, which is how they work for pregnancy prevention. So I'm not sure I'm buying what she's selling. Guess what? Nobody can baby trap you when you are taking responsibility for using contraception. I really hate this narrative. I bet you $10 you don't wear condoms, yet would cry at the pregnancy scare. Weak AF. Wrap it up. Dude, could he have taken more precaution by wearing a condom? Sure. However, you miss the point even still, because selfish deceit is being used. From your post I surmise, since you didn't say it explicitly, that you really want to have kids. But obviously, you want them on your terms, when you feel ready for that in the bond you've established with the prospective mother of your kids. I'm female and I'm aware that my experience in birth control / simply managing my body and its hormones is not a universal thing among women, but she should just tell you if that's the case. There could be a reason other that she's tried to get knocked up, but why not just tell you instead of getting angry about it? You have a right to know. It concerns you. You need to get some straight answers out of her, and if she isn't open and forthcoming, you need to seriously rethink this. Just a possibility, but maybe she's not on hormonal project control but instead practicing natural, it doesn't work, birth control of timing her ovulations and avoiding sex on those days. And she lied to you because she's found that people, very reasonably, call her out on her bull and stop having sex with her if she tells them. That'd still be a betrayal of your trust, but a wholly different one than the one you're assuming. People forget ovulation tracking can be used as a preventative method as well as a conception method. You track it so you can detect your fertile window and avoid having sex. Birth control is a wide spectrum, from the pill, to condoms, to methods such as ovulation tracking and pulling out. Did she tell you exactly what birth control she uses? Because it could be ovulation tracking. I think you need to sit down and have a conversation about the contraception methods that work for you as a couple. Another episode of relationship stories that are truly worth telling, and you got to be a part of it. If you enjoyed hearing these tales, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications too so you never miss an episode filled with tales that'll warm your heart.